My name is Ella. I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your classes to have us at your school. We are Hope Troupe, a group of teens working together to help people understand child abuse. We would like you to know that there are some secrets that are good to tell. If you or someone you know is being abused, do the right thing. Tell. Before we begin, there are 3 things that we would like you to know. Firstly, this is a live show, not TV. You can't turn up the volume or change the channel. We'll be here for about 30 minutes, so we ask that you stay quiet, pay attention, and be respectful. Secondly, the script was written by teens in this troupe. The subject matter may be harsh, but then again, abuse is harsh. Finally, stick around after the show. We'll have counselors and our directors here to help. I'm proud to present Polk County.
You know, I can't believe it. It doesn't, why does our last graded assignment of this semester have to be about abuse?
Come on, Zach, this could turn out to be useful. Don't you watch the news?
Yeah, but it's not relevant.
Come on, it's 2019. Tons of people are affected by this daily. I was reading, it's over 702,000 children per year. That could fill like 10 football stadiums.
That's only like 1% of the population.
No, look, I was reading and it says about out of 1 in 4.
Whatever, let's just get the A and get it over with.
It's not just about the A, Zach.
Fine. I better go, I have to meet up with some friends. Let's meet tomorrow.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Alex. I live a fairly normal life. I get pretty good grades, plenty of friends. Believe it or not, I'm one of the school star athletes. For the most part, I'm happy, but it feels like no matter what I do, my parents will never be proud of me. I'm overreacting. I mean, of course they love me. They pay for my sports gear, all my extracurriculars, and I don't know. I just wish that sometimes they would come to my games or like tell me they're proud, but that never happens because my B's are never good enough and my time is never spent well enough. They just want me to be a successful person. I don't know. Other kids at school complain about their relationships with their parents. I mean, no one's good 100% of the time. This is just like everyone else, right?
You know, this new research paper we have to do in health is actually pretty interesting.
Oh, what about?
Abuse and stuff like that, but my partner thinks it's irrelevant.
Maybe it is irrelevant.
Taylor, you don't know.
Yeah, I was reading and it looks like about every 1 out of 4 kids are abused.
So it doesn't sound like a me problem.
You never know.
Yeah. Well, look, I gotta go. My friends are waiting for me.
Are you sure? You know, you could just stay here with us.
Don't be dumb. They're fine. They're nice.
They were doing drugs on their stories.
Okay, I'm not like that. But I gotta go.
Kind of matches leaving us for them.
Yeah, me too.
When my friends look at me, do they see what I see? Do they see the broken girl that I'm hiding underneath? To everyone, Uncle Jeff is the fun uncle, the uncle everyone wishes they had. But to me, he's the monster under the bed. He haunts me throughout the day and creates an environment where I can't focus. I hate this feeling. From what I can remember, he used to be my favorite person. Now he's someone I can barely look at. How can a man who puts on such a brilliant act be such a terrible human? Harmony told me that there are over 3.6 million referrals to child protection agencies each year. What would happen if I made one of those calls? Would they believe me, or would they think that Uncle Jeff is just too much of a saint to do those kinds of things? I want to escape. I want to be as happy as my friends are. But I couldn't leave my sisters there with him. I just couldn't.
I mean, why is she making us write this paper anyway? Okay, it's boring and it doesn't even apply to us.
Well, it must apply to someone. I mean, Miss Clemens doesn't just assign something that's useless.
Yeah, right. I don't want to think about it, okay? Let's just get to practice.
Yeah, good point. If my parents found out I was late, that would not end well. You coming, Danny?
Danny, what happened to your arm? That's a really serious bruise.
It's nothing. It's probably from practice last week.
Okay, well, you should be more careful next time. Let's go.
So, I didn't really get these bruises from practice last week. For the past 5 years, whenever I do something my mother doesn't like, she hits me. She just wants me to be the best I can be. She was never the type of mother to read you bedtime stories. She was the type who beat you with her belt, the type who would grab you by your hair and yank you by it, the type that would stick her hand into a boiling pot of water before you're old enough to tell her no. My dad doesn't say much. My dad's the sweetest person you'll ever meet. He's always doing the nicest things for other people, and I know he'd go to the end of the world to protect me. He's given me so many happy memories, But my childhood has been filled with sad ones too. She broke him. When I turned 12, I realized that's not something that normal parents do.
Hey, I have some statistics that I really thought could help us out with this paper.
Every day, between 4 and 7 children die as a result of child abuse.
3% of girls were below the age of 10 at the time of their first sexual assault.
30% of girls that are abused are between the ages of 11 and 17.
Over 27% of victims are under the age of 3.
I mean, I don't know about these, Harmony. These are really high. I mean, if this is happening more, why don't we hear about it at school?
I know, I was shocked too, but I think that this is why Miss Clemens assigned this paper to us.
Fine. Well, let's just get to work, okay?
When I think about it, I can't remember the last time I didn't feel the pain. Sure, it may not come in bruises, but it comes with a daily reminder of a foreign feeling. No one should be forced to feel the way he makes me feel. When Jeff touched me, it felt like a dream because I thought he was a good man. Everything just started with a small conversation. And the next thing I knew, he locked the door and a million thoughts rushed into my head. I tried to create space between us by moving away, but he just kept getting closer. And then when he forced himself on me, I told him no. Who do I tell? Who do I turn to? If I scream, will anyone come running? And the screaming's always been in my head, so who do I tell?
Hey, can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, well, we're writing this paper about abuse for class, and I just wanted to ask you guys, see what you would think about it.
Why are you asking us?
Yeah, I mean, what do we know?
I mean, you're my best friends, and I want to see how you'd react to it.
Well, I mean, I can't really help you. I don't have any friends who are abused, and my parents are not like that, so... I don't know, I'm just gonna get going. If my parents found out, I would leave.
What about you, Danny?
Well, I didn't really want to say anything with Alex in the room, but things aren't the best at home. I don't really know what to tell you. I mean, I guess be there for the ones you care about. Look, Zach, I can't stand it at home anymore. My mother hits me. You gotta help me.
Wow. Of course I'll help you.
My story begins at the age of 3 years old. The first thing that I can remember is my mom having a major drug problem. It caused my brother to raise me on his own because my dad was almost never home. He was just gone, traveling most of the time. My parents divorced at the age of 5, so I've had to live with that most of life.
So this research paper is at a standstill. Zach and I don't have any personal connection, and it's not like you can just go out and ask somebody if they're abused, you know?
Can't you find enough on the internet? I mean, it might be hard to read at first, but it's not like abuse stories are totally uncommon.
I know, it's just... If Zach could see that this is happening to kids we know, I feel like he'll start to care more. So what's new with you guys?
So, you know how my uncle moved in with us not too long ago?
Yeah, what about him?
I'm lost, and I can't get away from him.
Your uncle?
Why would you want to? He's amazing. He's always there to help us out, and God, I wish you were my uncle.
No, he's horrible, and I hate him.
What do you mean? You know, he seems nice to me.
Well, he started getting really aggressive with me when my parents weren't around.
What do you mean?
Well, we went from kidding around to kissing, and he started pulling at my clothes.
Ellie, did he rape you?
Yes, but don't tell anyone, okay? Maybe it was my fault. You know, I did kiss him back. After all, he is my uncle.
No, when you said no, it became a him problem. It's not your fault.
Ellie, are you okay? You need to get out of the house.
No, if I leave, then he'll just do the same thing to my sisters.
Well, maybe we should talk to a counselor or something.
Would they believe me? You've seen the news. So many men in positions of power are doing predatory acts often with no consequences, as if it's normal.
I know, but if we can bring him to justice, it'll stop him from doing that kind of thing to others.
Okay, if you think so, but where do we start?
We should go to Miss Winter.
Okay, if you think so, then I trust you.
Since going into high school, we've been getting into some pretty interesting topics, one of which being child abuse for this project. I started out thinking it sounded awful. Child abuse, I mean. So I started paying attention to the behavior of students around school to see if I could pick out if they had issues at home. You know, it was amazing to see how many kids came just to eat because they didn't get meals at home. How many of them never even got to see their parents because all they did was travel. And that's when I realized something. That somebody even closer to me than a classmate was going through this abuse. Being abused by the only person they thought was truly there for them. I'm talking about me, Mom. It started out as small things, you know, not coming home right away after work when I was 10, the occasional missed meal, but it's grown even more. Last month was my birthday, and you were gone when I woke up, home like 2 days later. I don't even remember the last time I went to the dentist. I don't even remember the last time anybody said that they loved me. In 2017, there were 8,558 children abused in Iowa. And you know, 65% of those cases were neglect. And that's when I realized that I was a part of that statistic. And that I need help. Like Ellie. She got help and now she has this bright future ahead of her just waiting to begin. Zach, I've been thinking about this paper all week and it's really been bothering me.
Why is it bothering you?
Well, one of my friends told me about their experience with abuse and I guess it really helped me connect.
If it's so important to you, then you write it.
Zach, come on, this is happening to kids that we know.
Look, okay, we don't have the same friends. Look, I'm sorry. Actually, one of my friends is being abused, and I don't really know what to do.
Sorry. I don't know either, but I hope it works out.
Thanks. Let's finish. Let's get to work.
This house is my home. I should feel safe here, but I don't. I've mentioned this to my grandmother, and she just says I'm being ridiculous, ungrateful, exaggerating. No one's parents pretend to drown them in a bathtub or throw them down the stairs. I mean, she says I'm looking for attention, and I guess in a way I was, but I didn't want someone's pity, and I still don't. I would appreciate if someone would just look up and notice all the evil in the world. It's nearly a daily thing where I get thrown down the stairs, hit and kicked.
Hey, I mean, I heard you had a meeting with the scout last night. How'd it go?
It was fine. What did you get on the science test?
I'm not sure how they get your information. I mean, I cannot believe he's being scouted as a sophomore.
I wish I was being scouted.
Yeah, we met at practice last night. I don't think we'll have a second meeting.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. It was weird, okay? My mom put too much pressure on me.
Did something happen?
I mean, I told him that I had to be at home at a specific time, but he still wanted to practice. And so I was late coming home, and that's when my mom got really mad. And then one kind of thing spiraled into another.
Danny, did she hurt you? If she hurt you, we need to tell someone.
I mean, what if she denies it? I mean, the star athlete getting beat up in his own home by his own mother.
You can't say that. You can't let her get away
And
with
it wasn't
this.
your fault. A parent should be proud of you for your achievements, not punishing you.
You should go to a counselor.
I mean, will they even believe me?
We'll find someone who does. We can stop this.
I mean, if you think I should, I will.
Zach doesn't get it. He has loving parents that accept him. He doesn't know how to comprehend the complexity of having parents who you hope love you and who you hope treat you right. I still remember the days when my mom was around mentally and I was loved. Alcohol wasn't. Now I'm standing here ready to tell my story to the world, but I'm hesitating. I guess I'm hoping that the dad I once knew will return because deep down I really do love him. No, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and take it. I deserve people who love me as much as I want to love them, not parents who beat me or kick me or push me around.
Hey, Ellie, I've been thinking about you. Oh, I'm doing so much better. I'm gonna go see a therapist, and I know it'll be a process, but I'm glad I started.
That's good.
Wait, Taylor, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Should we go after her? Yeah, I don't want to see her ruin her life.
You know, I'm really happy that Ellie got help. She seems so much more happy now. But I walk my 7 siblings home from school every day, and it's strange that I can be with them and have them around me and yet still feel so alone. I'd be surprised if my dad was there even once when I got home, because he's usually just off at the bar. I wish I could just escape like Ellie, seek out help like her. I want to live the life of a normal teenage girl, but I can't. I just can't escape, because what would happen to them? At least the drugs make it okay for a while.
Hey, Harmony, thanks so much for being my partner on this project. I know I was a jerk in the beginning, but I'm glad we got through it, and I realized it was more than just the A.
I know you didn't think it was that important at first, but I think we both realize that this is happening to kids we know. Can you imagine how impactful this would be?
I mean, I go home to my family, and I realize they support me, and not everyone goes home to a family like that, so.
I just hope everybody had the same experience we did. I mean, it would just be amazing if a group of teens got together and shared this information.
The effects of abuse continue much longer after the abuse stops.
Even though she was abusive to me, I still felt a strong urge to protect my father.
The truth is that I cannot see it clearly. I want to fall in love, but I don't feel like I can trust anyone.
I may seem confident, but on the inside I would disagree.
It was so crazy hearing their stories. I mean, it was disheartening, but I left the conversation feeling empowered.
It's not that Ellie's story made me feel happy. It was just inspiring to see somebody come out with a story like that. She's so bright and vibrant now, you wouldn't even expect her to have that kind of story.
And it's so different seeing it somewhere rather than reading it somewhere.
It helps you realize that this is happening to kids that we know.
The effects of abuse is real.
Abuse can take on lots of different forms.
Sexual, undesired sexual behavior.
Neglect, the denial of one's essential needs: food, water, shelter, love, clothing.
Physical, a mark or bruise lasting more than 24 hours.
Presence of illegal drugs in a home.
Emotional, words or phrases that are meant to put you down.
Abusers may lie and try to convince the victim it is their fault.
It
It is never the victim's fault.
If you or someone you know is being abused, do
the
the
right
right thing, tell.
And if at first they don't believe you,
Keep telling.
until someone does.
Help is out there. No one deserves to be abused.
Never give up hope.
It's fine. We're open to take any questions if you have any.
What's your name?
Sorry. My name is Noah. I'm a 10th grader at Ankeny High School.
I'm Anastasia and I just graduated.
I'm Elena. I'm an 8th grader at Brody Middle School.
I'm Andrew. I'm a 10th grader at Roosevelt High School.
I'm Blake. I'm a junior at PCM.
I'm June. I'm a senior at Lincoln.
I'm Ella. I'm a 9th grader at Urbandale High School.
And now,
Now the question.
yes, if you have any questions, we would be happy to answer them.
How hard was it to write that?
For me, it was at our retreat. We got to read case studies and case studies about people that really went through horrible things. And you don't necessarily put yourself there, but you, in a way, you do kind of put yourself in the situation where, what would this person realistically be thinking? Not not like that cheesy bullying sketch, but like something you would realistically see. And I think we tried our best to put that into this script, and not as an informational thing, but as kids who are realizing that it's happening right next to them. And I think that's more common than we know it is. So I think that's what was most challenging, but it's really informative.
So
You
what's
get any
been the
questions from your tour that stood out to you?
I don't know. Does anybody?
I remember one from Central specifically. A boy asked a question about the little cards that we have that have information about hotlines and websites that you can call and go to if you're being abused or a friend is being abused so that you can seek out help. And he asked, is rape actually that big of a deal that you need to have like a specific hotline for it? And the fact that people don't know that it's like that big of an issue really I mean, it didn't surprise me because I knew, but it hurt, kind of, because it's something that should be more, it should be taught more, how to avoid it, how to help with it, and people should be telling and teaching boys just that it's wrong, and the fact that that's not a thing that's relevant right now, when it should be, is a big issue.
So you guys revived this troupe after many years of it kind of being dormant or non-existent. Why do you think it's important to bring it back?
I would say for like a big reason would be exactly what she just said. Like obviously people aren't as informed, so it went away for a while, but it's important to keep it alive because the issue's not solved and it doesn't seem to be getting solved anytime soon. It's like these statistics are real situations, and putting that into a perspective for like young people and anyone, like it's just really important, and it shows that we all have a purpose for doing that.
It's also the matter of people not taking it seriously, I think, because like there was a lot of people who didn't understand that abuse was a real topical issue that was actually hurting people. They were, like you said, they weren't aware that the behaviors were out of the ordinary and that they weren't right. And I think that it's a good education purpose, because if people don't know, and people take it as a joke, that it needs to become more serious.
The counselor at Lincoln Rails, Holly Lowell, she told us that the ninth graders, we were doing it for ninth graders that day, and that they kind of laugh when something might get a little uncomfortable for them to watch. And she said, that's natural. I mean, they're ninth graders, but it just makes, you can tell, it makes them uncomfortable, and in some certain circumstances it could be happening to them, but it was almost interesting to watch when they would get a little squirrely or uncomfortable, because you could tell that might be something very uncomfortable for them to watch. And she told us that. She said, we have kids who, it's just how that is. So it's kind of unfortunate how many laugh. But
and I think it's also like there are some issues that just don't go away because we live in a world where there's always going to be something evil and there will always be something terrible. And I feel like having a place that children can go to see that this happens to other kids, that this is going on, is really important. Just like us in our day-to-day lives, we have friends, we have relationships, so that we have an outlet to go to like talk to people about our issues and have them be there for us, and family members who are there for us and will kind of bring us in and like comfort us in our time of need. I feel like Hope Troop could be something that people who, like kids who are abused, that's their family, that's their relationship, that's the people that they can go to be like, you know what, I do have a question, like I don't know if this is considered this, or I don't know about this, like I just need somebody in my life, whether it's a Hope Troop member, whether it's like a kid watching in the audience, so they can feel like they have an outlet to open up to if they don't have that relationship connection in their own lives.
It's just that that you don't realize that it's I mean, that's what I found I love about this script, is that I don't love it, but what I realized about this script is that it's happening to somebody that I'm sitting right next to, and that she herself didn't even know that it was happening to her. I mean, it took her years to realize that. And I think many people are like, well, this is, of course we know about this, but like you would be surprised as to how many kids really don't know many of the, because they don't
just
talk
like
about
their
it enough.
normal
Yeah, they
thing,
don't talk
yeah.
about it enough, and it's really not natural. Sometimes you have to say to somebody when they themselves don't realize that. So that's what I found most disheartening, was that most kids themselves don't realize that.
What's up, girlfriend?
Like the vast majority of kind of the Des Moines Metro Theater, community theater in general, is a lot like lighthearted and kind of happy most of the time. How does it feel producing something that is this like heavy?
Empowering. That's honestly what I would say. Because I feel like, of course, like lighthearted theater is fun. Like I know like a lot of people up here have done like kid shows and different things like that, and they're like fun and like, hey, like we're funky. But like I feel like it's important to have something out there that's like, especially just from such a young age group.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the most impactful part of it, and I feel like, at least for me, the word I would use to describe it is empowering. To be a part of something that's not like your normal theater show, like that's not something where you go. I love shows that when I leave, I have something to think about. It's a message, and it shows me, like it encourages me to leave and be like, well, what can I do? How can I help? Like, what's something that I can go out into the world and live through my life so that I can help other people, like the kids in the show. And I feel like the script and the troupe that we have and the troupe going into next year will definitely have the task of bringing that back and being like, how can I, when other kids see this and adults see this and everybody else, realize that this is happening to so many people. So I would say empowering. I don't know if everybody else would
And
agree with that.
I think that doing theater like this with such a heavy subject, we don't see each other as much as doing like a show where you rehearse for 2 or 3 months or whatever, and then you just put on a show for 2 weeks. It's like we've been meeting since the beginning of the school year, but we see each other once or twice a week during like this like school like weeks when we're not on break. And but we are as close, I think, as a show like a normal like junior show, because the subject matter is so serious that we all had to like get over a curve of like it was uncomfortable to read those statistics on your own and then have to like come and sit with everyone and be like, okay, let's write something about this. Put yourself in their shoes.
Write a whole script about it.
Yeah, like realize that this is a real thing and it's not just numbers online or numbers on the page. It's something that's actually happening and you have to talk about it. Like we are the ones to put the message out there. It's really empowering feeling that brings you together.
And my plug for DMYAT is this theater company always picks 1 or 2 shows a season that really touches on the subjects that we don't talk about. And like Anastasia said, it's really good to leave a show thinking about something. And I think also adding Hope Troupe on top of that just adds it's very educational for the students that are involved in the organization, because you know you're getting to do a musical, and then you're getting to talk about tough subjects, and then you're getting to come to Hope where we really talk about tough subjects, but
well, and it also shows that theater can be for more things than just we're here, we're performing, like let's have a fun time, like
and I've always thought of theater as a very transforming thing. I love when people come to the show and then they leave. And another quote from David is, our job is to take them into a dream and to not let them wake up until the end. And sometimes that's a bad dream. But sometimes you need those to realize different things. So I think we need that. We need that a lot, especially in our world right now, today. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Thanks for coming.